Let me tell y'all something that might just flip your whole mindset. We live in a world that praises loud, aggressive, in-your-face energy. And somewhere along the line, we started confusing softness with weakness. Ladies, this message is for you. And fellas, pay attention too, because some of y'all are missing the real power that walks into a room quietly, with grace, with warmth, and with heart. Today we're gonna break down why her softness is not a liability. It's the secret weapon you've been sleeping on. Let's talk about it. Step 1, softness is not submission. Softness is not submission. It's often misunderstood, especially in a world that tells women they need to toughen up to survive. People hear the word soft and instantly think it means letting people walk all over you, not standing up for yourself, or being too emotional. But that's not what softness truly is. Real softness is a choice, not a default. It's not about shrinking yourself, it's about standing tall with grace. See, submission is when you give up your power, when you silence your voice out of fear or pressure. But softness, that's knowing you've got power and choosing to use it differently. It's the difference between reacting and responding. A woman who chooses softness is not weak. She's mastered the art of restraint. She can clap back, she can raise hell, but she knows when it's worth it and when it's not. That ain't submission, that's strategy. Softness means you walk into a room and don't need to dominate it because your energy already speaks loud enough. You don't chase validation, you don't overcompensate. You stay calm, steady, and grounded, and let your actions, your vibe, your character speak. That ain't submitting, that's owning your lane so completely that you don't need to prove anything to anybody. There's strength in that stillness. There's courage in choosing kindness when bitterness would be easier. There's wisdom in knowing when to fight and when to pause. People confuse submission with peacekeeping. But peacekeepers aren't weak, they're warriors in a different uniform. A woman who knows her softness is not a weakness doesn't fold, she floats. She doesn't break under pressure. She bends, then stands back up stronger. 2, empathy is a strength. Empathy is a strength, not a flaw. But the world doesn't always see it that way. People often treat empathy like it's some emotional burden, like it makes you too soft or too sensitive to handle real life. Especially when it comes to women, showing empathy gets labeled as being too emotional, too invested, too involved. But here's what they miss. Empathy is a super skill that most people don't even know how to develop. It takes a deep level of awareness, maturity, and heart to feel what others are feeling and still stand solid in your own truth. Empathy means you listen not just with your ears, but with your spirit. You see beyond the words, beyond the attitude, beyond the surface. And that kind of emotional intelligence, that kind of human connection, that builds relationships, builds trust, builds loyalty, and those things move the world forward. People who lead with empathy are the ones who make real impact because they understand that everyone's fighting some kind of battle. They speak to the soul, not just the situation. And being empathetic doesn't mean you don't have boundaries. It doesn't mean you take on everyone's problems or let people drain you. What it means is you can step into someone else's shoes, feel their pain, see their side, and still hold your ground. That's a high-level skill. That's emotional muscle. Empathy allows you to lead people, raise people, teach people, and lift people, not by controlling them, but by connecting with them. People who lack empathy might be loud, might be aggressive, might seem like they're in charge, but when it's time to really influence hearts and minds, they fall short. Because no one remembers how you controlled the room, they remember how you made them feel in it. That's what empathy does. It reaches people on a level that force never could. It heals what ego breaks. It builds what pride tears down. It brings people closer in a world that's constantly trying to pull them apart. 3. Patience and grace build resilience. Patience and grace build resilience. But most folks overlook that because we live in a world that celebrates quick wins, loud victories, and fast comebacks. Nobody's out here applauding the quiet strength it takes to endure, to hold your head up while everything around you feels like it's falling apart. But let me tell you, that kind of strength, that comes from patience, that comes from grace, and it's not for the weak. Patience isn't about sitting still and doing nothing. It's about keeping the faith when progress feels slow. It's about showing up again and again, even when the results aren't visible yet. When a woman chooses patience, she's not giving up. She's trusting the process. She's fighting a silent battle between doubt and belief, and every day she chooses to keep going, even with no applause, no recognition, no guarees. That's the kind of strength that can't be faked. It's built over time. It's developed in silence. And grace is what keeps your heart soft while the world tries to harden it. Grace is forgiving people who never said sorry. Grace is choosing peace when your pride is begging you to snap. Grace is how you walk through disappointment without letting it turn you bitter. It's how you keep your dignity when people test your limits. You don't respond out of anger, you respond out of wisdom. Not because you're weak, but because you've grown. And when patience and grace walk hand in hand, they create a kind of resilience that no amount of pressure can break. Resilience is not just about bouncing back. It's about how you carry yourself while you're still in it. It's how you move forward when everything in you wants to give up. And it's patience that gives you the strength to wait it out. And grace that gives you the character to do it with kindness. This isn't about enduring silently, it's about enduring powerfully with intention. Step 4, nurture doesn't make her small. Nurture doesn't make her small. But society has tried to convince us otherwise from a young age. Women are told that being nurturing is just about cooking meals, caring for children, keeping the peace, like it's some background role in the grand play of life. But the truth is, the ability to nurture is one of the most powerful forces a woman can carry. It's not small, it's not secondary, it's foundational. Nurturing means she has the capacity to give life, not just physically, but emotionally, mentally, spiritually. She builds people. She holds space for others to grow. She pours into others even when she's tired, even when she's hurting, even when no one's pouring back into her. And that ain't small, that's monumental. It takes strength to be the one who remembers everyone's needs. It takes energy to be the one who checks in, who uplifts, who listens, who holds things together when everything is falling apart. You ever notice how a nurturing woman can walk into a room and change the atmosphere without saying much? Her presence comforts. Her energy heals. Her words empower. And that's not because she's playing a soft role. It's because she's operating from purpose. Nurturing is not about being quiet or staying in the background. It's about having a deep understanding of what people need and being bold enough to give it. Whether it's her kids, her partner, her friends, or even strangers, she sees people. She loves them through their mess. She makes them feel seen, valued, supported. And let's be real, nurturing requires a level of emotional labor that most people couldn't handle for a day. It's not easy to stay compassionate in a world that's cold. It's not easy to keep giving when you're tired, but she does it every day. And people rely on that. They thrive because of it. So, no, nurturing doesn't make her small. It makes her the foundation everything else stands on. Staying kind in a cruel world, that takes a different kind of strength that most people don't even recognize. It's easy to be kind when everything's going right, when people treat you well, when the world is fair. But when you've been betrayed, talked down to, overlooked, disrespected, and you still choose kindness, that's not weakness, that's warrior level control over your spirit. The world we live in today celebrates the tough, the savage, the cold. Social media praises the clapbacks, the cutoffs, the I don't need nobody attitude. And don't get it twisted, boundaries are necessary, but there's a difference between having boundaries and building walls so high that nobody, not even love, can get through. Staying kind is not about being naive. It's about being wise enough to know that bitterness is a trap. It eats you from the inside out. And some women, the strongest ones, decide they're not going to let the world change their heart. They still smile, they still help, they still show up for others even when they're bleeding inside. Kindness doesn't mean you let people disrespect you. It means you know how to respond without matching their energy. It's saying, I see your pain, I see your anger, but I don't have to become it. That takes emotional maturity, that takes control, that takes inner power, and it means you've risen above your environment, not surrendered to it. Because it's easy to reflect the world, it's harder to rise above it and become a light in it. A kind woman in a cruel world carries a strength most people can't comprehend. She gets tested, she gets mocked, she gets taken for granted, and yet she doesn't let it harden her. That doesn't mean she's not aware, it means she's intentional. It means she's chosen her values over her ego. Her kindness is not a costume, it's a conviction. It's a declaration that no matter how dark it gets, she's going to remain light. And to carry that kind of energy in a world that's constantly trying to dim it, that's not just strong, it's rare. 6, softness invites strength. Softness invites strength. But this is something many people don't fully understand, especially when we live in a society that values toughness, aggression, and dominance. We've been conditioned to believe that in order to be strong, you have to show up as hard, unyielding, and unshakable. But the truth is, real strength doesn't come from trying to force your way through life. It comes from embracing softness and knowing when to yield, when to bend, and when to trust that you have the resilience to bounce back stronger than ever. Softness isn't about weakness. It's not about being passive or letting people walk all over you. Softness means having the grace to stay grounded even in the toughest of situations. It means having the courage to remain gentle with others, even when they're harsh with you. It means having the emotional intelligence to understand when to speak and when to stay silent, when to act and when to wait. And here's the thing, it's that quiet strength, that calm presence that draws real power to you. When a woman walks into a room with softness, she doesn't need to demand attention or fight for it. Her presence is felt because there's an energy about her that commands respect without raising her voice. It's the strength of a woman who has been through hardship but didn't allow it to break her spirit. It's the strength of a woman who has the wisdom to know that sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is pause and allow yourself the space to breathe before reacting. When people see your softness, it invites them to drop their walls. It encourages others to show their vulnerable sides because they know that you won't judge them for it, and in that there is incredible power. Softness doesn't push people away. It invites them in, and in doing so, it builds connections, fosters trust, and nurtures relationships. And those relationships, they are the foundation upon which true strength is built. Think about it, the strongest relationships are those where both sides can show their vulnerability, where both sides can be soft with each other and still hold space for each other's strength. Softness invites not only emotional strength, but also spiritual strength, because it teaches you how to navigate the world with compassion and understanding instead of always reacting out of anger or fear. It teaches you to be resilient in a way that doesn't harden your heart, but strengthens it from within. So when people try to tell you that softness makes you weak, remind them that it is exactly that softness that invites the deepest kind of strength into your life. And the strength that comes with it is far more lasting and impactful than anything that's built on hardness or aggression. So let me leave you with this. Ladies, your softness is your superpower. It's not a sign of weakness. It's the strength that's been hidden in plain sight. Your empathy, your patience, your kindness, your nurturing spirit, these are the things that shape the world. They build people. They build relationships. They build empires. Don't let anyone tell you that being soft means being small. Don't let anyone convince you that showing up with grace, staying kind in a cruel world, and nurturing others is a flaw. That's strength. You are the quiet force that holds things together, and that kind of power, that kind of influence, it's unstoppable. So walk into the world as your full, soft, powerful self. Keep showing up with your heart wide open, your spirit unshaken, and watch how your strength becomes the very thing that moves mountains. You're not just here to survive, you're here to thrive, to lead, and to change everything with the strength of your softness. Never forget that.